Díobit, Daine usual. Time on show le fishing no. Um, I've actually recorded a few videos in the last few weeks, but each time I've deleted them out of embarrassment. So I guess this one will be going up either way because I need to get out of that habit. Um, Perfection is the enemy of good, as Voltaire said. So this will be a chaotic kind of general chit chat. The topic being Sionnach, the Irish language, my little journey, and all of this stuff. And yeah, just general kind of little things I find interesting, and maybe you might find interesting too, and a general update on the app. Um, so first things first. So recently I kind of starting a new job, so I kind of took the opportunity to travel home and visit family and get away from the heat wave here. I've been sweating since May. But on that journey, I actually got access to, well, my library, I suppose. When we left Ireland, I just packaged it up and left it at my parents' place. So I was able to get back into the books that were there. And then while I was in Ireland, I did my my pilgrimage back to Tara, which is beside where I grew up. Um, Tara being the it's big, beautiful hill where you can see 40% of the country on a clear day and all this spiritual and Gaelic significance. But why I like it up there is a old bookshop and a Gaeilgeoir, an Irish speaker, works there. And most of the books are in English, but there's an Irish section that's quite good. So I, I raided that one. I got myself a nice thinning pre-1950s language reform dictionary. So I don't know if I can even show this properly or not, but it has the Seanclo, which is I was delighted with, really happy with that one. And I found this on my way out, which is Brendan Behan's poems and the play on Gael, Oscailga in Irish, printed in Oldcastle, County Meath, um, 1981. I absolutely adore Brendan Behan. I'm reading, actually, when I was traveling, I was reading his biographies, Poor Still Boy, and Confessions of an Irish Rebel, I think. Second one, which I haven't started yet, but I love his writing in English and I love his writing in Irish. And I don't know, it's his uh, understanding and compassion for everybody and his view of the world and just all of it. Can't get enough. So I was absolutely delighted to get this. And yeah, that was what I purchased. And then in my old library, I came across these, which were the first books I bought when I got serious about learning Irish as an adult. And it's funny how like it was the first ones I got, and I've bought many since. I have literally bought every Irish language learning book you can get. I had my Amazon addiction in the lockdown. This is the best, I think, and it comes with the audio, and you just start statements. It just gives you, let me see, like chalk the hain, just some images, some words, and then you just say them out, and then you get the audio, so you can hear and speak and stuff. And there's a bit of humor in the images, which I really like. And I'm trying to find the date. Yeah, it's 74. No, 60, 67. Yeah. Um, these are really, really, really good. I think these are the best in my opinion for learning the language. So I would highly recommend. On Gum is the publisher, which is really good if you have time to check them out. Also in the secondhand bookstore, I got this, which is the Bible Oscailga, Irish being the oldest liturgical language for, is it the Catholic or the Christian faith? Western Europe. I mean, it's the oldest language in Western Europe, oldest continuous language that was survived and stuff. Um, but obviously a lot of scholars, especially the Sean Gaelic and the Old Irish, were monks. So I have that a bit of a read. Although I'm not much into religions, it's always interesting. And then the other thing I got was from my old library, a heap of like graphic novels. got these ages ago in a comic book store, and it's you go on your whale and you can have the speech bubbles and stuff, so you can kind of figure out the scene from the images and then figure out the words used. So I got that in a comic book store in Dublin. Anthane is pretty good too. This is the epic. I have the book somewhere here, and there's a few others which like a nice. This is a bit of a heavier one. So yeah, I'm kind of glad to get these back. Didn't come at me the first time because it's actually quite heavy, and we were charged by weight. And then I got this it's tarot as well, actually, in the coffee shop, um, which is just like a heap of sayings and shonacles, but like a little image and stuff. So I think I can confidently say I have the best collection of Irish books in Valencia now. It's a question of reading them next. I'm actually currently reading on Hobbit in Irish. It's my fifth attempt, I think. Um, I know the story like the back of my hand because I've read it in Spanish and English and watched the movies. And this was the first book I ever read. Back when I could barely read, so things never change. Um, yeah, that's it for here. I have also my old school dictionary, which is quite nice because it's a simplified dictionary, right? So like, this is just the Irish, limited number. So you can just pick a random letter some days, which I often do. Say like a few words I don't know in G, just go in and like read through like 10 pages or so, and then seeing the words beside each other, you can. It's easier to just pick out the differences. Like why are they spelled differently? Why are they same? All of this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's. I would love to incorporate these into the app, especially the plays and stuff. And I might do that with the Brendan Behan play when we get more time. Um, but for now, yeah, that's kind of what I have. I've been reading flat out. I'm trying to write more. I've actually been writing a few poems at Gaeilge, which has been a lot of fun. And then on forums and whatnot, me typing up. Um, Still like don't have the comfort, a lot of mistakes and stuff. So if only there was an app for it, eh? Which brings me to on Sionnach, the language app. So since we last spoke, a lot of stuff must have happened actually. So first of all, we released the new introduction course, and we were thinking and talking this for a while, and it was like, how do we actually like teach the language? And then this is why I was so keen to get back my old books, trying to get onto this kind of shit. Like, how do these start? They give you images, and then they give you sentences, and like this becomes difficult to read through and remember because it's just a load of randomized sentences. Well, conversations are good because they have a theme. It's like some people are talking about stuff. Um, but the app doesn't have images, and we don't have the artistic skill to do that. So, um, trying to figure out a way to make it fun and engaging, maybe more memorable, but like believable in the sense that like it's language you might use. I think if your brain thinks it might use it, maybe it might hang on to it a bit more. So, um, anyway, my long-winded way of saying the idea was just to create a story about two people from Irish mythology. They wake up and they don't know anything. They've got like amnesia, like that sleep amnesia, but they don't know what's going on or who they are or what anything is because it's an ancient sleep. And then they need to kind of figure out the world through speaking about the world, through statements and stuff. And then the idea is it's similar enough interface to what we had before, and that was just done for the sake of the time, but also to start somewhere. And we start off with Lugh being the Celtic god, kind of like Cuchulainn-esque type of figure. In Greek mythology, it's Apollo, and in Roman, I don't know what the Roman one is actually. But, it's like the young, kind of like hero god that the pantheons all had back then. Interesting enough, actually, maybe not anybody else, but to me, the city of Leon is named after this god, Lugh, and there's a few other places in Europe from back when Celtic was common in these regions. Um, Yeah, and then Scotia. Scotia was a conscious decision because Scotia is an Egyptian princess who went to Scotland, or was it Kerry? I can't remember, but it's supposed to be the mother of the Gaels. I wanted to have some figure that was so an Irish figure, Lou, which is quite attached to where I grew up, beside me is County Loud, Lou, and I want something close to that. Then I wanted something kind of more like uh, Scots Gaelic, kind of Western Isles, north of Ireland type of stuff, and then also Scotia has connections to Kerry. So I was kind of trying to get two figures from different parts of the country and stuff, and the whole Egyptian connection was quite nice, seeing as I married into that culture. So yeah, that was logic between those two. And then they basically have their own internal monologue, where they're thinking, "Who am I? Where am I?" All this kind of stuff. And then they chat to each other, which is probably what you'll use the language yourself when you're talking to somebody. And then the listening is just this about the prompt, conversational stuff, and then speaking. So I might go through them, and if I go through them, it's going to take me a while, and then the video will run on. Maybe I will just go into the first one. Um, so Lou says, "I am Lou." Um, I'm wondering, should we put something to make this more obvious? We got rid of the translate because it was taking up too much space, but I guess as a newcomer, this might be a bit confusing. Um, this word goes here, and there's three words. So I don't know if I've showed this, but we changed up the view. This is my favorite. It breaks it into the components of the sentence. So the cupola, the pronoun, and the preposition. Is that correct? Um, so if you have a look here, it will tell you there's the pronunciation is, and then the translation, is, are. Cupola, a special verb to be. It's linked to subjects. So this is the first lesson in introduction course, and arguably cupola is the hardest thing to learn in Irish. You don't say, so you say something is ta, something is, right, ta 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 everywhere, and then if you're talking about me, or you're using something as a statement about identity or something, it's Erenach me, I am Ireland, it's Gaelach me, I'm a Gael. Tá agla orm, I am hungry, hunger is on me. Tá leabhar agam, the book is at me. So you think like tá leabhar agam, the book is at me. Tá agla orm, I am afraid. So you have to learn the fact that you don't say I have, you say it's at me in the present moment, and you don't say I am hungry or I am afraid. You say the hunger is on me or the fear is on me in this moment, right? So this is already complicated enough. And then if you're talking about yourself, like a statement like it's in me, I'm an engineer. It's it's Erach me, it's um Farkela me, I'm a husband, this type of stuff, right? So it's like, permanent, kind of similar, but in no way similar to Ser and Estoy in Espanol and Spanish, right? So I'm just thinking it's kind of funny. This is in the first lesson, but first thing you're gonna say is like, "Who am I?" So it's
Is
Misha.
Misha Lo. Is Misha Lo.
So then so you can click these buttons to hear
Is Misha Lo.
when you start off, or as you type the words, they sound it, and then when you finish it, you hear it again. And we're trying to bombard you with the sounds, so you're tying the letters and the words to the sounds and hearing the differences because Irish sounds very different to English, and people speak it with an English accent, which I have, as my teacher told me. Verla with the lips, right? Gaeilge with the throat. So hearing it is the first thing. If you can hear it, then you can change your own speech. Yeah, so let's go on to the next one. We have the word view, which I just showed you, and then we have the phrase. So, you can go word by word, but in Irish, like especially, a lot of times it's far better to learn phrases. So, is Anam Dum is my name. So rather than learning is and then Anam and then Dum, which you could do, you know, like the kupla is anam, the word for name, which is tied to the word for soul and animal. So anave is animal, um, anam is soul, and um, I think avine are rivers and stuff, but basically anything that has life in it, right? Anam, it's anam dum. Um, and then dum on me, it's on me, right? This is another one. So you have a gum at me. Um, you have orm. It's right. Orm is on me, and then dom is. Oh my god, I don't have to translate these directly. Uh, this is why I keep not posting videos because I keep making silly mistakes. Um, right, a gum at me, orm on me, and then dom. I can't remember. But yeah, you know, dom div ditch. You know, um. So yeah, let's keep going. So you have the phrase view, and then if you switch into this, we have the pronunciation where we do the standard Cardial standard Irish pronunciation, so you can sound it out phonetically. And then we have here the IPA symbols. It's quite difficult to see actually here, maybe on the screen, but it's easier on a mobile device. I'm not sure how many people use them. I personally can't read the IPA. We just generate them using like a, you know, like a converter. So yeah, so then pronunciation, and then let's get on with this. Let's see, and then if you know, it's Lug is Anam Dom is the thing. Lug is my name. Lug is my name. Um,
Look.
Also, you can always change your dialect, Connacht, Ulster, Munster. Again, we really hope to put more dialects, but they're very different from each other.
Lol is anam hum.
It's that hum. You hear that hum, the D. That's why I say dumb with my English accent, and they say
Lol is anam hum.
hum. Like I say bra, B-R-E-A, and they say bja. Although I am working on that. I am working on getting my accent better. Um, yeah. So Lug is my name. Lug is Anam Dum. Lug is the. Let me just. What is the direct translation for dumb? I guess it's a good sign that I don't know the direct English. I just know how to use it, right? Um, let's see. For me, yeah, that doesn't feel right either. But anyways, let's continue on. Lug is the name for me. Dumb. Okay, so then it's all of this, and you have the XP system, and you have the number of words, and you have dark mode, light mode. I don't know if I've showed this off. And then obviously over here you can change settings, dialogue, animations off if it's wrecking your CPU and your phone, and then other kind of stuff, turn off the sounds and all of that. And then if that's not enough, you can come in here and have a look. There's a whole lesson. So we have a lot of data for this, but we don't want to bombard people because already it's kind of a complex interface. And we want to have everything available that you could possibly want, but we don't want to overwhelm you either, right? But then at the same time, if you want to go looking, like you know, you can see here what how it's spelled and all this kind of stuff. If you're stuck, you can get a hint and you type over it. But the lesson, then you can dig through it, so you can have a listen again here.
Lol is anam hum.
And then you can see it, and then like so, very common way to say anam dum. So this is what we learn in school. It's just by rote, you know. Sean is anam dum, you know. Uh, Paul is anam ditch, this type of stuff. And then we have here like these are kind of like 7 categories, and they kind of have it. Each lesson has these throughout the app, and people might have different interests, different curiosities, and the idea is that they know exactly where to look after using the app for a while. So learning tips, and then we have grammar. So, like people might, if you're very familiar with learning languages, this might be an easier way to understand it, with pronouns and stuff. Uh, yeah, this doesn't make much sense here because it's the first sentence, but later on as we build on it, or the first lessons. Um, I guess for this, because it's quite a simple sentence, it's repeating a lot of the stuff. Um, is the name for me. Dumb is the name for me. See, I used my phone to look up what dumb meant, and I could have just used the app. The preposition combines may and so like all of this stuff. I never learned this in school, or it's only when I was doing the notes for this late at night, reading through stuff that I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then we have here, the pronunciation again. It may be a bit redundant because it's in the view, but it's nice to have it. So maybe you might come here and just start sending it out. That's actually, I got the idea from this series of Spanish books, and uh, Samuel, which is like a French company, but they do English books. But they have at the bottom, they have like the phonetically spelled words, which is really useful. Um, yeah, and then the dialect differences. So I think that we might have to put a lot more notes in for the dialect differences. Yeah, it's often shortened to is. You'll see that a lot with the dialects. You like shorten sounds and stuff, and jump over them. Okay, so that's Lou and his look and his stuff, and then Scotia is similar. Like we're covering some of the similar grounds where it's like, it's
Is. Mische.
and the hope is like after you've done the first lesson, maybe once
Scotia.
or three
Is
times,
Mische Scotia.
and you come here, you're like, you should know how to say this straight away. Even and the idea is that the first one is a male and the second one's a female, so we can pick up the difference in gender in the language. Yeah, and then it's like literally the first two are identical because
Scotia. Is.
this should be the
Kom.
same for everybody, right?
Scotia is Anam Kom.
Regardless of gender and stuff. But then later on, it changes, right? So
Is. Dan.
this is the
May.
cupola in
Is
action,
Dan May.
whereas Lou is Farme, right? And
Ta. May.
oh,
Bill. Tome Bill.
maybe I'm alive. So yeah, and the sentences change a bit then. So it's like similar structures where it's like we do the like ismisha sanam dum and then the cupola, and then we go into like this just the ta maybe oh. And I think Lou was like Tommy on shot, and then it's the same thing but in different ways. So it's the same structure and stuff, but some different words. So then I am here and all this kind of stuff, and then we go from pause into the orums, on me, and then actually, what is it at the end?
Ta.
That's late.
May.
Tommy on shot.
Tom Insha.
Yeah, then we have the questions too. So like, what is this place? Who is he? There is a man here. Maybe he knows. I'm trying to each lesson trying to add in just a bit more, show a different pattern, and the idea is to come back and repeat this again and again and again. So this is kind of like the whole what's it called in violin, the Suzuki method. And you see a lot of other stuff where you start off with something like with a core thing, and then each lesson you add one thing new. So you're constantly building up, and the mind can focus on one thing. There's not too much going on, but also to avoid repeating the same lesson because you get bored if you keep saying all of the like same patterns. The brain will just give up. It's not interesting information. Whereas each new one has one thing new. The brain you get that nice between too boring and too hard. You get the nice, ideally flow state. Yeah, so that's it, and then you have two of them, and then when they come together, these are set up to if you do three, you finish 100%. My percentages are a bit off because obviously I was, testing and doing stuff, and we only added in the 3 stages towards the end. Um, is this missing something? No, I show you what I mean now.
Kie.
This is the two of them talking.
Diere.
Diarich, Diarich.
Kie. Is. Muire. Chais.
Kie is what.
Dia is muire.
So that's like, you know, God. So Diarich, God, God be on you, God be with you, and then Jesus Wordich, you know, God and where and Mary be with you. Mary being the favorite of Irish people. A lot of people don't like the religious stuff. They don't like the like. I think Gia is like God, so people aren't too up. It's okay, but when they get to like, you know, Mary and all this kind of stuff, they so a lot of people will just avoid this. They'll be like hi HAIGH, or you know, they'll just be like straight into like Constantatu or Keikoyoltu or something like this. Personally, I think I don't really have a problem with religion stuff, and it's like people just think GH is hello and GH Wordich is the response. So it's like we don't have to get too into it, changing it and stuff. And I said already, it is the old liturgical language, so it's kind of nice to have a bit of that in it. But to each their own. So just be aware, maybe. And I could have put that in here, but how confusing would that have been? If you're like a new time lesson learner, and I'm like, oh, here's how to say hello, but also like if you don't like religion, here's another way to say it, and you know, be aware of this and stuff. So it just gets confusing. Um, Although I totally understand if someone is not into the whole any type of religion at all, and equally if someone really likes it, that's cool. So yeah, I think what I'm trying to say is we just chose the default. We didn't pick a side. um, so then it's Michelle, Kate Tussa. So like, you know, I am Lou. Who are you?
Is. Mission. Lo.
Lo. K.
Hey. Tossa.
K Tussa.
Is Michelor. Ke Tossa.
K Tussa. Scotia is Anam Dum. So this is like, you know, you should, after going through the first two lessons, this should be just
Spotie.
second nature, right? And then at this stage, maybe you've done what 3 or 4 lessons or something in the language. You should be able to like easily just try out what your name is, and you know it's the first step of a new conversation.
Rom. Spotie is Anam Rom.
It's Anam Hom. Tá Bula Jazz. Yeah.
Paul. Ohus.
Oh, it's Bula, of course.
Ohus.
So that's the other thing too. The words we have pulled from the web, so it's all kinds of different pronunciations and stuff.
La.
So see, meeting Bula. Arm. So ta artist arm. Happiness is on me. Bula meeting, and then lat with you. So you can see why people might struggle with this language. You can learn by rote, but it's like directly to English, word for word. Is happiness on me meeting with you. So it's like talking like Yoda or something, and it doesn't make sense in English. So in speaking in English, you're better off learning the patterns in the language in its own regard rather than trying to translate word for word. And that is kind of why we went with the whole like phrases and stuff. Like Bulalat is just like to meet you. Bulalat just. I guess you could probably. I mean, I don't know. For me, it's just like ta is it's like ta otis orm. It's like, you know, after a while you're using it, it's become second nature. Um, but I think when I said switching in English and talking in English like I am now and stuff, I get confused. What did he say? Oh yeah. So then he says, so in Irish, like, you know, dear Scotia is a Scotia. Scotia.
Scotia.
Scotia.
Tá
So,
áthas ar an bula leat a Scotia.
and this is like Scotia is because this is another language that's complex. Like we're in the introduction course and complexities here. This is simple, right? Scotia, SC, but because it's a C, we don't do any mutation. But if this was a different name, like my own, if this was Sean, so I said, I'm happy to meet you, Sean, and we said, it would become not Sean, it'd be Hyon, which is my name, Shane, Hyon, um, which is like an endearing way of saying there. Paul is Paul, P O for L, and an Afol, PH, O for L. Is that in the notes actually? We're writing this so fast. I'm not sure we had time to go through it thoroughly, but we might have decided not to overload the learner. Yeah, exactly. Because well, that's debatable. If you have opinions on this, should we put in here like that if it was a different name than Scotia, that you would say it differently, or should we just leave it to later on? The research we were reading is that it's better to learn the language in chunks, not to memorize, not to like overload every single detail, and just have users or learners pick it up the language in chunks, and then when they have that kind of base, they can go back and like refine the knowledge. Or like if you just know how to say this stuff and you've learned it, whatever way you learn it, these become like foundation sentences. So like, maybe I find a better example, simpler one. Agus lumsa, och kawulmid. So where are we? So if I go back to like just a simple sentence like ismisha lug, ismisha lug, right? You learn that ismisha Shane, uh, you know, plus something else. But ismisha, right? I am. And then later on, you come across the grammar concepts for cupola, and you're learning it. But you have this name in your head, and you rabbit it off when you're learning the grammar, and then you can apply it to the sentences you have, right? So this is the idea. Like kind of chicken and egg, you need to have something there. Whereas if you went in and just learned all the rules of the grammar, and then you came in and you tried to learn it from the ground up, it's doable, I think, but a lot more difficult. Yeah, so then we have the lesson,
Díochaid.
which is just without the English prompt, and you just listen. And then we have here who's speaking. This is Lou. It is
Cia.
a woman's voice because it's just the limitation. We don't have access to a lot of audio, so we have to kind of be selective. But you know, if we had voice actors, we'd have a man's voice here. And then so this is the conversation.
Cia.
And this is why I got confused in the conversation before, because I thought we had this interface for that one, which we probably will do next.
Chaid. Díochaid. Dia is muirechaid.
And then she responds, right? And then we have the speaking lessons, which is the same thing but just in speaking. So this is it's 33 minutes into the video already. This one is we put a lot of time into it because if we could pull it off, it would be really, really cool. I'm quite happy with what is here, but the idea of this one is you're trying to say hello. It's Geoditch in English, Geoditch, right? In English, the sounds, right? Then you have a listen.
Díochaid. Díochaid. Díochaid.
Dia,
Díochaid.
dia,
Díochaid.
dia. So you hear that it's like a G sound nearly, right?
Díochaid.
The hope is that a learner might be like, why is that a G sound?
Díochaid.
And then when they record themselves, this is going to mess up my audio, isn't it? Maybe I won't do that. I'll chance it. It might mess up the video though. Let's just see. Oh no, if we don't give permission. Interesting. I fix that after this call. After this video. Pardon. But yeah, if you recorded your voice, it would show up here. And then you can compare it to waveforms. Some comments online were a bit disappointed that the app didn't tell you if you're wrong. And I will be honest, like it's a bit frustrating for people to expect that level of sophistication on an app we build for free. Like it's Saturday night and I'm working on this, and I've done that for the last the whole summer, as is Michael, the guy who works with this, our co-founder. We work, Friday nights, Saturday nights, and Sunday nights, on our weekends basically. So we're not working our day jobs. We're doing this stuff because we love the language and we love doing it, and it's passion. And we, once we have our family commitments done, and then we have our work commitments done, and your health commitments done, and like fitness and all this stuff, anything that's left in the week at all, pumping it into this app, it's become an obsession. And like when you're living that life and you're really trying to give it all, and you're doing this stuff, and someone comes along, they're like, well, why doesn't it do this, why doesn't it do more? And I was like, I don't know any app that does that. I know that the old Rosetta Stone used to do that. It wasn't very good, maybe because I have a strong Irish accent. um but the app is free. We're giving it out for free, and we have built this for ourselves. We use this is how we learn, and it works. So it's just sometimes it's like it's interesting that this one person either, and it's common. I think it's probably a common thing because if one person says it, 10 think it, right? And maybe 100 people have it subconsciously and stuff. But I mean, I guess we probably could drop everything and try and get the sound waves matching up perfectly and all of this stuff. But like, what if someone has difficulty speaking, or and then there's also the fact that in Irish, three major dialects. Within those, there is at least three each, but like more. And then within those, there's a spectrum, and then there's male and female, adult, young person, someone has a speech impediment. Um, there's just all kinds of stuff, right? So it's like trying to build something that could just do it. And at the end of it, what do you get? You get something that will tell you if you're correct or wrong. But if you just listen,
Diogei.
your ear builds up that. Your ear can tell you, build up a classifier.
Diogei.
You're the most complicated circuitry in the universe sitting between your ears, and it can signal process in, and it can tune itself in and learn.
Diogei.
And if you do that, then you have that, and then you have this ear for it, and you can bring that around with you, and you can learn the language and bring it into other stuff. Um, but of course, some drop the comment on a video or something. You can't well, you shouldn't write an essay saying all this stuff. But sometimes, yeah, sometimes it does. What's the word? Like it hurts or something. It's like if you've ever played sports or something similar, and you're really giving it your all, and someone's just like criticizing you, like, I'm trying my best here, come on. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think like as it is, I like this that you listen, speak. Um, that's so interesting. I found that bug every time I record a video. I find a bug, and that's one of the reasons I don't post. That plus making like silly mistakes because I'm trying to switch languages. Okay, so that's this one, and then yeah, so then Scotia and all of this stuff, and then like we have all of these ones uh written out, and we've done them mostly using books, so it's a slow process. um, but then I need to like proofread each of them again because even in this one, which was the first course we put out, and I think putting out irregular verbs was a silly thing to do. I did it because I was trying to learn them, and I am learning them. But if you're learning something, trying to build a course around it, there's going to be mistakes. So I think there's still a few bits and pieces of mistakes, and I guess this is the point of a beta. So actually fixed a lot of these this week. For example, to go. I think when I was doing to go, it was like in June, and I was like scrambling to react to the virality of the posts and stuff, and like get something out before people like got fed up. I was afraid that I had overpromised, right? Um, but then in the future tense, late at night, and I was doing I think it was it or was it past tense? Um, but I was doing one of these, and I kind of messed up the um I can't think of all tonight. Um, I messed up the like not so much the main ones, but like later on because it goes three. You get three like sentences, which are like the most common, and then if you finish those twice, three times, you get unlock another two, and they're more rare. So like by the time you get to 12, it's like the most rare, right? Later on with those most rare ones, as you can imagine, when I'm doing this late at night, it was like I was putting in mistakes and typos and stuff. not so much typos as like I was just using like because it's irregular verbs, right? I was using the pattern I knew and applying it, but because it's irregular, it should be different in certain contexts. So yeah. Anyway, that's my way of saying the pronoun. I need to fix that. It will be done. Um, yeah. So then, look, you can see some of the other courses we put in. People really want daily conversations. Um, and then common words and stuff. I think realistically, the next one we will do is going to be uh, something focused on vocabulary. That's very news to Michael. I'm thinking that if we have introduction and a regular, if we just put in like a vocabulary course, anybody can use it from any level. Maybe 100 most or 1,000 most common words. Um, because it's really easy for us to do. It's just literally like word, sentence, word. Um, we can pick simple sentences too and stuff. Whereas if we were to do you know, daily conversations, that needs a bit of thought. Like, at the shop, ordering coffee, all this kind of stuff. Kind of picking some interesting examples and stuff. Um, so yeah, on to the next thing. Let's see. On the next release, we are working on a dashboard. I'm really excited for that. Some nice little features in it. So, streak. Look, I'm after outing myself. I haven't been doing my lessons. Most of my time goes into free time goes into like writing the code and stuff, and like going through the content or reading. And then we've been resetting the XP. So you can see this now. Should be here. You can reset your XP and stuff, reset all your progress, and then you can click here to delete your account. You can change your password here. I need this weekend to put this onto the sign-in page so people can, if you've got the password, can update it. And what else is here? Courses, progress. You can kind of see like how much you've listened to it. Trees. Like the whole idea of the app is basically to act as a on ramp to kind of just get you through the hard stage so that you can start engaging with the language. The way I engage with the language is like I read a lot and I write a lot. No, I don't write a lot. I read a lot and I've started writing. So getting to that stage is like the hardest part, making the jump. But once you're there, organically the language will grow, and then the more you do it, more of a habit becomes. Everything you listen to, it improves. And this is the argument I was reading. Gaelic Revolution, something. The book. It's a book about the revival and stuff, written a few years ago. But it was pointing out that when we learned it in school in the Republic of Ireland, we're only doing it like 4 hours a week, um, and then at most, I think. And we're in a classroom of 20, 25 students, one teacher. In primary school, the chances of that teacher being literate or like really good with the language is very slim. And there's some studies showing like 25% primary school teachers struggle with the language and stuff, which is understandable, right? If you're a primary school teacher, you have to teach all the topics, all of the subjects, right? So, um, my point being, 4 hours a week isn't that much, and then in secondary school it's the same. And then a lot of people then will get exemptions because of dyslexia and stuff, um, and like other reasons, and also like too because of the whole economics of the Anglosphere. Um, Irish is considered like of low import because it's like considered that you don't need it for jobs, or science is more important, than like generally parents aren't too upset if you do poorly in this language, which is a bit short-sighted, I think. Like I haven't used too much of my geography, my Oxbow lakes and stuff, but I've used Irish a lot. But even just having a second language that's from a different language family is quite useful. What's super interesting is that in the early days of the um, the Irish independence, the first few years of the building the state and stuff, um, they like the ideology was there, so they made it mandatory for every student to learn through the Irish language. But as you can imagine, like the education apparatus was, was from an English speaking apparatus, right? So like none of the teachers could speak the language, so it's a disaster. And then when the students finished their primary education, which back then, like 1920s, might have been as far as some people got, they were like 2 years behind their contemporaries in the English language and other subjects because they hadn't got a clue what was going on. Um, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that. But like, it's kind of changing now. Like I think in Wales, they have like 40% of their schools are in Welsh, and in Ireland, it's a lot worse. Like only like 0.1% of the budget is spent on the Irish language in Ireland, even though it's like our main language. It's supposed to be bilingual, Irish first and then English, both at the same level. But like yeah, it just there's more and more Gael schools in Ireland, but it's not nearly enough. And then even for people that do go to them, like if you're learning mathematics in primary school, a scale again, and then you go into secondary school and you switch to English, like that can set you back in a key period and stuff. So I thought I could talk for days about this. There's so much debate. Like people think the Gael schools are elitist and exclusionary and all this kind of stuff. I would my 2 cents is I think everybody should be bilingual, and the more different the second language is, the better. I think English is a amalgamation of Latin and Germanic languages, French and Anglo-Saxon, and you can see that in both languages. Like when you learn Spanish, a lot of the words, especially the bigger, more technical ones, are the same as in English, right? So there's so many similarities even in the sentence structure and in I imagine the same in German. So with a Celtic language, we're getting something much more different. Like it's a much older language. It's more akin to the Semitic language, like Arabic or Aramaic or something. And I think that's good for your brain. It must be. It must be to kind of have those different structures and different points of view. And like for example, in oh, here we go. I'm going to start ranting. But in in Irish, like like different ideas of ownership. Like you can't have something. You it's at you. I know different ideas around. You don't say my money. You say mo chuid agad, my part of money. Mo chuid ober, my part of the work. It's communal, shared. It's a different viewpoint, and you don't have to talk about right or wrong or like bad or good. But it's perspective is always good. It's my thoughts on it. And arguably, if you have a second language, the third one comes much easier. Um, yeah. So then we have a lot of stuff here. Like, you can like see what's going on, and this might become way more important as we add more and more content to the app. Um, this is the kind of idea we had of like the trees in the beginning. So it's feel like your forest and you're planting it and you're growing and stuff, and it is still here. Like these trees are images that are AI generated. I just generated each of the stages of a sapling growing and stuff. I don't have the artistic skills to do it, but you can click on these and you can bring into the lesson. So like you can have a look here, and then I wonder is this one from? I say a lot of these are probably because like I've been using the app obviously from the start, right? So a lot of lessons wouldn't be around anymore. Um, yeah, so you can kind of see this type of stuff. This little dot star here means that it was generated by Google AI. Back when it was good. Actually, I have a few more of these generated, but we need an artist to do like the proper Irish trees. It'd be really cool. Um, Profile settings, my vocabulary, um, proficient, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, and then into updates and news. So this is where we put the update. So you can kind of see where we've come from. I think the first one was down here, myself and Michael. 1.2.0, that was 29th of June, speed scoring system. And then the most recent one, and we'll be doing one this weekend, hopefully. The Act 1, the forest you just saw, the XP and statistics were revamped. We have a Mac OS desktop app, quality of life updates, full account controls. So a lot of the fixes too now are like stability stuff, not very visible to people. Oh yeah, and here we put in this new stuff, but we need to put in some way of, a notification symbol to bring people here. So like here, I posted we're going to release the app and stuff. But this one, like, please don't use Mozilla Firefox. It doesn't work there. I'm trying to fix that, but I'm not sure how many people even saw this. Ya está. ¿Qué más? Future features. So you can see people really want professional native speech, as do I. We need funding for that, obviously, and then people want sentence variation. I wonder how much of this is to do with the lack of content. Like we're painfully aware, and to address that, we are like building out tools first for ourselves so we can make content faster and like you know it's cognitive load because at the moment we're like using raw code and JSON and stuff and a lot of mistakes get made because your mind's doing too much and then if we can do it just focusing on the content staying the Irish language much easier but we're doing this as a web app right so then we can just give this to anybody they can create their own course which is this is what we want to do because we are the tool makers we're not the content creators like we're both students in the language too so we want to give people better than us the tools to make courses so we can use them right um no one's interested in creating their own lessons which is interesting and then yeah I don't know, we've done the sentence annotations which we've seen and in dark mode which is really nice thank Michael for that that was a lot of work too and support on Patreon um I thought of this now actually like the last release we put out we got a massive uptick in users as we expected because before it was a regular verb and now it's introduction. So it was like a 400% increase, and that's gone up to about 500% increase in daily users. What's interesting is we've had zero support, more support on Patreon, which I don't know why. It could be any reason. People could just be like, not think it's worth it. It could be economic. It could be because it's August. Everybody's after spending their money on their holidays. Anything, but it's like it's interesting that the app went up what 500% and the people helping donating all this stuff just flatlined. I will be honest, it is a bit worrying because as the users go up, so do the costs of running it, the maintenance and the attention needed. We were kind of hoping that like if it took off, there'd be enough funding to kind of for Michael to go full time, um, or someone else, something like this, depending on circumstances. But and then also to kind of cover the server costs. But yeah, we'll figure it out. It's good people are using it, people are learning the language and stuff. And but if you're watching this and you've gotten 52 minutes into some guy rambling, a strong meat accent, and you have ideas, please do let us know. I'm curious. Like we've tried to mine the stats and the data and stuff, but I guess it could be anything. I mean, it could just be that the app isn't good enough and people don't consider it worth supporting or whatever, which isn't the end of the world because, as I said before, we keep improving it, so eventually it will get there. Maybe we're not promoting it well enough. Maybe we need to put it like somewhere more central where people can see it. You know, kind of want to avoid the whole Wikipedia thing of begging people for money. But long term for the app to like become its own thing and survive and all that kind of stuff, I think we need to like at least have the capacity to hire in junior devs to kind of run it and debug it and stuff and like pay native speakers to record audio and educators to make courses and stuff. That would just make it sustainable, right? If I had a revenue stream. Um, Although we can keep doing it like forever on the donation model, donating our time and stuff. Um, I just worry that the quality might suffer. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you've ever been part of any volunteer organization, it just becomes difficult to like do some stuff when you don't have any money at all. um, yeah, and I guess we could like cover like server costs aren't a big deal and other stuff like paying someone's salary. It's not not gonna happen. And maybe if I win the lottery, I might start playing the lottery. Um, yeah, air supporters. Yeah, so we've been going 4 months. End of May, we've got 16 people, and um, yeah. So I suppose we got a few people last month. What's that like four? So Mila Bucas to Colin Schneider, Mary and Kearney Brown. Oh my God, Lo Bajanist and Sticko, who joined last month, all on Patreon. Much appreciated. We put the names here and then I think I should probably message people directly. Maybe I should call everybody out. See, we got a lot in July. Like So like you look at the story that's been told here, like June, two people, Dali Amalo, she was the first to do it, and when people when they put money in Patreon, all we get is a username, right? So that's what we put up here. If you have put money in and you want a different name, do message us. We will update this, and if you want us to put your social media or whatever, no problem. Tech on Gale. I can confirm that is Michael. um, before he joined, like this person's username was someone. Terry Simons, Terry for watching, Will Lucas, Patrick Doherty, Mike. So then, yeah, into July. So someone, Terry Simons, Patrick Doherty, Mike, Daniel Coakley, um, Gail Galgaribin, Paula Healy, Riza Castro Lopez, Dermot McHenry, which I think I've been talking to you via email. Really nice guy. And Sean. So what's that? That's a few. You can see like we assumed that this was going to be the trend, but then in August they kind of dropped off. And I wonder is it because we stopped the pace of the app slowed down a bit or something, or is there some other reason? I don't know. Would be nice to know. Maybe we'll know in the future. Okay, so then join the team. So I don't know if I've showed this or not, but I just basically this idea was, we want to get more people. If you get more people to volunteer time, spread the work, app can go faster, everybody's happy. But I didn't want to give any illusions. Like I said, there's no money. It's just donate your time, get credit, and that's it. Love of the language. So I took the post from, if you're familiar with Ernest Shackleton, born in Ireland, did the voyages to the Antarctic. I think it was the Antarctic. I don't think it was the Antarctic, right? Um, went with Kerryman, Tom Crean. Um, so he posted in a famous thing in the London paper, and the post was like, very dangerous mission, no pay, low pay, like horrific conditions. It's going to be horrible, but if we succeed, it's glory and honor and all this kind of stuff. It's such a Victorian type of thing, right? This was the idea: was just take this and like you know use it for what we're doing. Bit of a meme, I suppose. So bodies wanted. Want to keep it gender neutral. Harrowing journey is very true. No wages, very true. Bitter code, it is quite bitter. It's Flutter. Long hours of complex debugging kind of test. Constant doubts. Um, yeah, seriously, every morning it's like, are we doing the right thing? Safe return. You're okay. You're just sitting at home. It's okay. You'll be okay. Honor and recognition in the event of success. Um, yeah, I mean, if it's successful, right? If this app is successful, then, you're gonna get honor and recognition. And then yeah, obviously Ernest Shackleton, so people got to meme. And then what we were looking for is Irish speakers, native speakers, for recordings, educators, artists, developers, voice talents, writers, content creators, designers, testers, business operations, anything to admin, registration, any of that stuff, fundraising, community managers, just anybody who could contribute anyway will be um, welcome, basically. Um, and we got a few emails. Actually, we got a lot. We need to kind of start processing through those and kind of interviewing people and stuff. The challenge is we kind of need to find people that will stick around for like at least a year or two. Myself and Michael are committed. This is us for like the rest of our lives. This is our hobbies, right? Our part time or free time for the next decade or something. But if someone else comes on, especially if it's a coder, um, because it's gonna take time to like onboard them and train them up and stuff. So you kind of want to have somebody who's gonna stick around, and because it's part time, right? So someone at most might give a couple of hours in the weekend. So like to kind of justify how much time it would take to train someone in, you kind of want them to be sticking around for a while. So that kind of means somebody who's probably already working in the scene, is already making Irish language content. Um, yeah, that's kind of what we're thinking. Because it's just the two of us are coders. We don't have a HR team. We don't have systems of onboarding. We don't have training. Like we tried to do documentation and stuff, but it's still just a glorified hobby project in some ways. Um, yeah, and then the support stuff. So one-off payment, buy me a Tay or become a Patreon. That's it. Been chatting for an hour, rambling maybe. Do apologize. Well, I apologize in the sense that I'm probably never going to stop doing that. So I don't know. It is what it is. Um, yeah, that's it. So I don't know what else to talk about. We're gonna keep doing at it. We generally like finish work Fridays and Friday evenings we plan. Saturdays we kind of get as much stuff, and then come Sunday we're getting ready for our launch. Or so that's what 2.5 days maybe. Then obviously like both of us have families, so like that comes first. So Saturdays or Sundays are probably gone. So usually talking Friday evenings, Saturday evenings, and then maybe Sundays. But it's all good. It's all really good, and like it's growing. Like I said, the numbers are way up. Um, People are using it. The stats are basically it's like I think it's like 500 hours of audio listened to or something in the last week. So like it's you think about that's quite a good thing if everybody's listening to this much Irish content and learning. It's going in the right direction. We have, as I said, all of the content done for the new introduction course, so that'll be coming out soon. Then we'll do the vocabulary. At that stage, we should be in a position to give out tools for anybody who has a knack for making content. Um, that might be someone wants to do for free, 100%. But if more likely, like someone is doing this and they want to like create a course and maybe they want us to change the interface and they want the lessons to look a bit differently, yeah, we can do that. Something different, some variation on this. And then maybe that person who's creating the course might want to like charge a fee, if they're living in a Gaeltacht or they're a teacher or something. Like it's only fair that if they're putting their time into like creating, curating, and maintaining a course, that they are getting something back for it. So like we might then just put a fee in it, and then the app maybe could take a commission or something on the sale, and then the app could use that to fund its development, and then the creator is incentivized and rewarded for creating content. And then if we had a few different people, maybe people from different gal talks and stuff, we could have a lot of diversity, and no matter what you want to do, it would be on the app, and that would be really really cool. And other stuff too, like we like the idea of us being tool makers and other people being content creators. So like adding in forums where people can chat to each other, or like chat to each other one to one, like a kind of chat roulette type of thing. Like I think one of the problems with Duolingo was a lot of the problems that comes to the Irish language, but they try to control everything. Whereas I think for this, especially for Irish, it's so diverse. You're far better off just providing the tools and letting people do what they know is what they know is best, right? Um. So yeah, that's it. Like, and then I mean, you can imagine as the app evolves, like the lessons screens might change and evolve and be something different. You might have like missing words or like more interactive ones or like video based lessons and this type of stuff. And then the other side to too is I opened up italki, the app, to check my next lesson. I'm getting lessons to because I don't speak that much to get lessons to kind of improve my speech. And the interface has totally changed. It's all AI. It's like this, and I can't even find teachers. So I was thinking already, and now more than ever, I'm thinking that like putting up a means for teachers to kind of like do lessons through the app would be a really positive thing to do, where they can come here and like you can do the lessons and stuff, and then you could go and find a teacher and do like video lessons, and then maybe they could even use some of these courses or some of their own to assign homework and stuff. That could be quite cool. It's kind of cool too if you think about it, because you could have teachers from like the Gaeltachts, and they could like that could be a source of income for young people there and stuff, which would be quite nice. I think all around for everybody, right? So you could have people living in the US getting lessons from someone on the Aran Islands, which would be very nice. And then I think for us the model would be to kind of take a like a reasonable, like not a extortionary commission on that, right? Like a small percentage, not even as much as Apple take off of us, and then that would keep the app alive and everybody's kind of winning and stuff. I think too, like if we solve the issue of learning the language, right? If you can go from A1 to C1 on the app through a combination of like lessons, of videos of teachers and stuff like this, I think people have no issue spending on it, right? Like, I don't think anybody would be upset with spending money. And then, like I said, all the money, the aim of the app is the language. It's not like profit, right? So all of the money going into it is going into either the app's features or like maintaining it, or else if it's someone's paid course, it's going to an Irish speaker. It's going into the language. I'm trying to say every cent spent on it goes into the language. It's not being like um, it's not going anywhere else, right? So I don't think people would be too upset if they were like spending on they're learning the language. Um, Whether or not we are close to that is a different question. I mean, that's up for people to decide for themselves. I've got a lot of value out of the app, but I'm biased, right? So we are very sensitive to feedback, I'll be honest. But maybe that's good. So that's it, Sinead. We're going to keep posting up releases. We chat a lot throughout the week. We mine the stats, the anonymous statistics, trying to find insight. We talk to people, anybody who reaches out to us. And I think if we keep open and we keep putting work in and we keep trying, this app will become something really incredible, I think. And yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting, and equal parts exhausting, which is all passions, eh? So, Gura Mila, agus Slán live, and I'll see you guys soon.